In early August 2024, a Ukrainian first-person view drone struck a Russian attack helicopter in midair during a fierce combat operation over their own territory, an extraordinary event that was recorded on video. The Security Service of Ukraine confirmed that elite soldiers from the M2 unit of the SBU Special Operations Center managed to target and strike a Mi-28 helicopter on Tuesday, August 6, 2024. The footage, shared on social media, opens with a tense scene, an initial attempt to lock onto the helicopter. The drone, still distant, hovers like a predator stalking its prey. But it's the second segment that delivers the heart-stopping moment. The FPV drone, now locked onto its target, rapidly closes in from the rear left quadrant of the Mi-28, zeroing in with unnerving precision on the tail rotor. The video then abruptly cuts off in the final split second, just as the drone makes contact, leaving viewers with the haunting realization of what might come next. While Ukrainian sources reported that the tail rotor of the model was successfully hit, the ultimate fate of the helicopter remains shrouded in uncertainty. On the other side, Russian social media channels reluctantly acknowledged the strike, only admitting that the Mi-28 was forced to land due to the damage. Some sources have gone as far as downplaying the incident, claiming the Mi-28 suffered only minor and easily repairable damage. Whether the FPV drone carried an explosive payload or not remains unknown. But even in the absence of explosives, a small drone can wreak havoc on a helicopter's tail rotor, a vital component designed to counteract the immense torque of the main rotor. Any damage to this critical part could spell disaster, causing the helicopter to yaw uncontrollably, or even worse, to spiral into the ground. The location of the attack adds another layer of intrigue to this unfolding drama. According to SBU sources, the Mi-28 was struck over Russian territory in the Kursk region the same day Ukraine launched a major mechanized assault across the border. News outlets report that the Russian army claimed around 1,000 Ukrainian troops, along with over 24 armored vehicles and tanks, crossed into their soil. Some reports suggest that Ukrainian forces may have penetrated as deep as 18 miles into Russia. The helicopter in the video was allegedly part of the Russian military's swift response to this bold Ukrainian incursion. Since August 6th, both Ukrainian and Russian forces have confirmed the loss of at least 3 Russian helicopters during the chaos, including a Mi-28, a Mi-8, and a K-52. However, the exact means of their destruction remain unknown, with both sides hinting that drones may once again have played a crucial role. The footage of the Mi-28 attack underscores the escalating drone-on-drone warfare unfolding in real time. These nimble, cost-effective machines are proving their versatility in roles far beyond their original purpose, now taking on the daunting task of intercepting helicopters hundreds of times their size. And as these aerial skirmishes intensify, more and more are being captured on video. In the first few months of 2024, Ukraine escalated its campaign against Russia's oil refineries, striking at the heart of Moscow's lucrative trade in refined products. These attacks come as a direct response to the relentless Russian missile strikes on Ukraine's energy grid. So far, the world's second-largest oil exporter has seen approximately 14% of its refining capacity crippled by these drone assaults. However, Ukraine's boldest strike came in April, when a bomb-laden unmanned aerial vehicle flew deep into Russian soil and targeted a factory well over 700 miles from the nearest Ukrainian-controlled territory. This operation marks what appears to be the Ukrainian military's deepest and most audacious strike of the war so far, and it was also caught on camera. Footage of the attack, shared online by the Russian media outlet Ostorozhno Novosti, captures the tense moment as a UAV, adapted from a light aircraft, plunges from the sky and slams into the factory at approximately 5:45 a.m. local time on April 2, 2024. The resulting explosion is substantial, sending shockwaves through the site. Since the video's publication, media outlets have verified the location as Yelabuga, home to Russia's third-largest oil refinery, which processes around 155,000 barrels of crude oil per day. The factory is also believed to be a key site where Russia assembles shade loitering munitions supplied by Iran for its military operations. The UAV involved in the attack appears to be based on a two-seat A-22 Foxbat ultralight aircraft produced by the Ukrainian aerospace company Aeropract. This model typically boasts a maximum range of 680 miles and an endurance of 10 hours, figures likely based on a manned flight with fuel reserves for emergencies. However, in this unmanned, one-way mission, it's plausible that the aircraft could have extended its range significantly, reaching Yelabuga from Ukraine while carrying a sizable warhead in place of a pilot. What has left experts and online commentators baffled is how a relatively slow-moving aircraft, with a cruising speed of just 111 miles per hour, managed to penetrate so deeply into Russian airspace without being intercepted, especially given the fact that the country must be on high alert due to the war. Following a series of these devastating UAV strikes, an anonymous Ukrainian source revealed that the drones employed in these missions are equipped with advanced artificial intelligence-driven terrain-following technology. This sophisticated system allows the drones to navigate autonomously without communicating with ground stations, effectively rendering them immune to jamming attempts. This combination of AI-enhanced navigation and low-altitude flight paths likely enables the Ukrainian UAVs to slip past Russian air defenses, which have been struggling to counter these persistent threats. The strike on Yelabuga is a case in point. And while Ukrainian military intelligence reported significant destruction of production facilities at the site, this was swiftly denied by Tatarstan's regional leader Rustam Minnikhanov. An industry source downplayed the impact, stating that no critical damage was inflicted, and personnel were able to return to the plant within days. Even if the Yelabuga attack did not cause severe damage, its psychological and strategic impact could still be profound. The mere fact that such a strike was possible may compel Russia to stretch its already strained air defense assets across a broader area in a bid to prevent further events of this nature. As Ukraine continues to innovate and adapt, Russia's vulnerability to these deep penetration UAV attacks becomes increasingly apparent. On the night of July 27, 2024, Ukrainian kamikaze unmanned aerial vehicles launched a coordinated assault on multiple locations of strategically vital targets all across the Russian Federation. Wave after wave, the drones struck an oil refinery in Ryazan and several airfields housing Russian strategic aviation, including Engels and Dyagilevo. But no attack was more remarkable than the strike that occurred at Olenia Airfield. That day, Ukraine's Ministry of Defense Intelligence Service confirmed that the operation had successfully hit a long-range supersonic bomber, the Tu-22M3. Now it was official, the war between Russia and Ukraine had reached the Arctic. What's even more astonishing is that Ukrainian drones managed to reach such a remote and strategically critical site as Olenia, located near Olenogorsk on the Kola Peninsula, deep within Russian territory. The strike on Olenia, over 1,100 miles from Ukrainian-controlled territory, represents a historic milestone. Never before had Ukrainian drones penetrated so deeply into enemy airspace. Originally constructed in the 1950s, Olenia Air Base has played a pivotal role since the start of the invasion. The base is a crucial hub for the nation's strategic aviation, frequently serving as a launch point for cruise missile attacks on civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. Satellite images of Olenia Airfield, taken in February before the strikes, reveal the scale of its operations. The photos show dozens of Russian aircraft lined up on the tarmac, including 10 Tu-95 MS strategic bombers, 35 Tu-22M3 bombers, 3 and 12 military transport planes, and a few Su-30 SM fighters, providing a chilling glimpse into the might of the Russian Air Force stationed at this remote Arctic outpost. But despite the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense's report, the drone attack on Olenia has yet to be confirmed by independent sources. The origins of the drone that struck Olenia remain a mystery. If it was launched from within Ukraine, it would have had to traverse over 1,000 miles of Russian territory, a daunting feat in a country ravaged by war and plagued by relentless GPS jamming. Alternatively, the drone could have been launched from within Russia itself. The Kola Peninsula, with its vast untamed wilderness, offers ample cover, South of Murmansk, the sparsely populated regions of Arkhangelsk and Karelia are dominated by dense forests, providing ideal concealment for such a bold operation. The attack on Olenia was inevitable, only a matter of when, not if. Yet the execution of this strike, deep within Russian territory, remains a surprising and unprecedented achievement.